Hey, it's Alex Williams of the New Stack here for another episode of our series on tutorials and demos. And today I am here with Jessica Kerr, lead engineer at Atomist. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. It's good to be here.
I'm so excited because you have your pens out and your paper, and I'm looking forward to this demo. So why don't we just get started?
All right. So Atomist is fairly new, and I get a lot of questions of what is it? And the bad news is it's really hard to say what Atomist is in like 20 seconds, but fortunately we have longer than that today. Atomist is about software delivery. So that's like the distance between GitHub and deployment, say Kubernetes. And it could be a different version control or a different deployment environment, but that's fine. Typically, we have some automation in this space, but Atomist looks at this problem very differently from, say, Jenkins or Travis and stuff like that. Atomist looks at software delivery as a cross-cutting concern. This is something that you should solve across your organization in a consistent fashion when you choose to. And Atomist provides the ability for you to do that. So I like to say that every organization with custom software really needs custom software delivery. So Netflix built Spinnaker and open sourced it. I hear there's a new one from Yahoo called Screwdriver. And those are the perfect software delivery solutions for you to use if you're Netflix or Yahoo, this may be. I really think we each need our own solution. And Atomist it's a platform, it's a framework and a service to give you the hard parts or the common parts. I don't want to say the hard parts because it's all hard. But the common parts of software delivery that you can't build yourself if you're not Netflix, if you don't have teams and teams of people on this.
Yeah, who does these days? Who does?
Right. I mean, even the people who do shouldn't be,
Right. Hello. I mean, all those people.
Yeah. So once you kind of think about software delivery like beyond Jenkins and Travis, Atomist really steps back. We come at this not from existing software pipelines, but from a perspective of delivery automation more generally. Mm-hmm. Specifically, Atomist is an event hub. That's one of like our three. Move into the picture, please. There we go.
Yeah.
So Atomist is an event hub, and it receives events from GitHub. But also we do GitHub. We do GitHub issues. You can send events from your build system, or you can send custom events from Jira if you want, whatever. The idea being that you can do more delivery automation or development automation in general, but specifically delivery is really urgent and important and a source of a lot of pain. The Atomist Event Hub, the crucial bit here is that when your events come into Atomist, get there.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Unlike like Jenkins or Travis, you don't do your delivery within Atomist. Atomist service sends these correlated events to something that you get to build, which I'm going to draw down here. Come on down there. There you go. And it's called a software delivery machine, SDM for short. And the software delivery machine is code that you write. And then I'll just show you one. Okay, so when I want to make a new delivery process in Atomist, I start with creating a software delivery machine. And here's the Atomist command line. This is just going to create a software delivery machine starting point for me on my computer. And normally I'd start with a blank one if I was going to do something customer specific. But today I want to start with a software delivery machine that has some stuff in it. So we'll start with Spring.
So is that the hard stuff right there to make that available immediately?
This is an example of project generation, in fact, which is one of the development activities that Atomist automates. And that is a hard problem because we do project generation differently. We don't start from a template. So when I'm going to enter, we'll call this the new stack SDM.
Mm-hmm.
And poof, it's created a new project, and it says cloning seed project from starting point at Atomist Seed Spring SDM, which is a repository that has, come over here. It has a working software delivery machine in it.
Oh.
Our project generators start from real projects, not templates.
Cool.
And all it's done is, let's see, I'll go into the directory it's created. I'm going to remember to run npm install this time. Oh, I need another window. btns SDM. Okay. And then if I open this in VS Code, because the software delivery machine is in TypeScript. This technology is not specific to any programming language that you would be deploying.
Right.
We happen to have implemented the first implementation of the software delivery machine's API for software. That is, we've got Event Hub, we've got API for software. That's another thing that's an Atomist concept.
Oh, are you drawing it? Are you drawing it?
Oh, I did draw it, but I didn't put it on the screen, did I? Thank you.
There we
go.
Oh,
yes, we contain the API for software, which is a framework, and it's in TypeScript because we figure we want everybody to be able to use it, and the most universal programming language is JavaScript. It runs the most places, but TypeScript is better because you get auto completion, and that makes it a lot easier to use someone else's API.
So let me guess. The events feed. Do the events feed the machine then to some extent?
Yes, the events feed into the machine. So the Events Hub is in our service, but it's crucial that this software delivery machine belongs to me. It runs on my infrastructure, and the code in it is completely under my control. So some pipeline solutions will let you inject little bits of code into the middle of the process. Atomist believes software delivery should be done in code from the outside in. So the code is yours all the way from the top. And you have
from outside in, then you get the what capability?
You get complete control over your software delivery, and you get to do this in a language with modules and packages and libraries and a rich ecosystem. It's not Bash, and it's not a list of commands in YAML.
Yes,
it's
YAML.
A real modern program.
Yes. Gene Kim was talking about that YAML. He wasn't happy about that YAML.
Yeah. So instead, we create a starting point, and this software delivery machine uses our SDM framework, which has concepts for things like builds. That's a common thing. It understands things like pushes, and it subscribes. Under the hood, there's a GraphQL API that subscribes to push events, among other things. I can also subscribe. It also has issues and various other events. So I could do something like sdm.add issue listener. And then, that just takes a function from an invocation to, it needs to be an async function. And then I can do stuff, I can implement automations based on events that matter to me simply by writing a function.
So this is where you see the advantage of TypeScript then?
Yes, where you get this auto completion and type safety and stuff. TypeScript I love it. I come from Scala and Clojure and various functional languages with and Java, and I didn't really expect to like TypeScript because I'm like, JavaScript, but it's great. I love it. I love it better than Scala. Anyway, yeah, I'm very happy with it. And Microsoft is amazing these days. They're just really high quality.
The developer tools, yeah.
Yeah, and VS Code too. Anyway, you can write little functions to do things like, hey, a new listener happened. And the third piece of the Atomist model, by the way, since we're drawing it, is a rich model. So the events that come in here, they're not just, hey, a new issue created. And it's not just, hey, a push. When I get this inventory event or this invocation of, just put the plus on the outside. of the new issue listener. I get the issue and I get some information about it. So I can look at, let's see, who opened it. And this winds up, you can do a GraphQL query to find this stuff. Okay, and they're a person, and they probably have a chat ID, and that chat ID has a screen name. And you can dig around into like what commits is this issue associated with, and what comments are on it. You can get a lot more information about what you're dealing with. Right, but the interesting bit is delivery. So we need something to deliver. I'm going to start this SDM up. And this software delivery machine is going to register. Oh, I'm pointing at the graph and you can't see that. This software delivery machine is going to register with the Atomist API. This service provides triggering and it provides correlations of these events. But my software delivery machine is the only thing that is going to is the thing that's going to check out the code from GitHub. And one difference is you do not define per repository what you're going to do. Delivery is a cross-cutting concern, and you make the decision of what to do per push based on the push itself. Both the contextual information of who made it and what it's related to, and the code. We're developers, we understand code, and we can write code that understands code. So let me go to Slack. There is a web API, but I like the Slack API. Look, here's a sticker with the Slack bot on it.
Oh,
whoa, show the picture. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so the service also includes a Slack bot, which is really important to me because it lets our automations collaborate with humans. In the end, often when it comes time to deploy, a human needs to make that decision. And with Slack or MS Teams, with chat, we have a direct line between the computer and humans, both directions.
That's the communication vehicle, isn't it? That's the machine for communication.
Yeah, it is. It's a connection. And I think we really need our automations to be more collaborative with humans and not try to take work away from humans. Yeah, so here's satellite above. Good.
Yeah, it reminds me of history of APIs, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that always been kind of the idea, though? It's like trying to make it more collaborative and more useful and more helpful, but you're not trying to take the human out of it. You're just trying to make the core better, make the features better.
Yes, it is. And make our work easier and do the work that needs to be consistent and therefore boring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boredom.
Let's see. How are we on time? When I run this, so now we're in my software delivery machine. And one of the first things that I like to change is this project generation. Because if I'm going to start a project, I want to use my own sample project. So when you start your own software delivery machine, can pick a repository in your organization to be the example.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go ahead and restart this. So it'll use the new one. Mm-hmm. Restart that. And this is a repository within my organization, Satellite of Love. That's my toy GitHub org. Come here, give me Firefox and give me Spring REST seed. So this, again, this is totally not a Java-specific technology, but we need an example of something.
Okay.
So this takes a real Spring REST app. And let's go to the controller and we'll see this. So any changes that I make to this seed are going to be reflected in every new project generated in my organization.
Okay. So that is the granularity you get.
Yeah. And this is one way to enforce organization-wide policies. Mm-hmm. I like it because when project creation is easy, then you don't have like that balance of, this endpoint should really be a new service, but that's so much work. I'm just going to glom it onto an existing one. Having made that commit and starting it up, where's my Slack? Oh, this one. I want this one. So now when I say Atomist create Spring, that's going to hit my software delivery machine that's running, currently on my computer. In real life, I run it in Kubernetes or whatever infrastructure I have. But for modifying it and playing with it, it works fine to run it on my laptop. So let's have a new one. I'm into hippos today. I'm going to call this one Hippo 3. And then it asks you for stuff like this. This is like specific to Java projects.
Mm-hmm.
How about com.hippo? That sounds
There you go.
And other hippo. I don't know.
And other hippo. And other hippo's friend. But, you know, you keep going.
Right. So it's cloning it from this, from my Satellite of Love Spring Rest seed. Oh, now this is an example of a built-in automation that is reacting to the new repository event. Mm. It's like, hey, would you like to create a channel where I'll post events about Hippo 3? And all this is built in to the Atomist Slack integration. Mm. Okay,
That's
so Hippo 3 down here.
That's like almost like a pipes concept almost, isn't it?
That's true. You can link repositories to as many channels as you want. You can link multiple repos to the same channel so that you can keep your notifications wherever you want them. There's also a web app, but I like the Slack integration.
Lots of hippos.
There are. I did practice this a little bit today. So my software delivery machine has already picked up the push, the initial push to this repository. Mm-hmm. And it's already done stuff because it didn't need to be configured to react to a push. What it did was look at the push rules. Come here, push rules. There they are. And that said, okay, on any push at all, we can do these checks. We can do Autofix. We can do code inspection. And and then if it's a Maven project, we can do builds. And this is looking at the code itself to be like, is there a pom.xml? All right, let's build it. And it like figures this stuff out. That's and it cool. Says, if it has a Spring Boot application class, we might be able to deploy it. And in fact, it's deployed the thing. Now, this being kind of a example that helps you play with it, it just deployed it by spinning it up locally. And it's running on my computer. And it says the new stack and
other hippo.
Other hippo. It's right here. It's done the substitutions. So then you have a new project completely ready to go. And you don't have to use the project generation. If you just create a new repo, Atomist will pick it up because it's an event hub.
And then you get to see it here in a Slack, and in Slack, which is an experience people are finding useful, aren't they?
I think so. I really like to bring the information to where the people are instead of asking you to go to a new place. Mm-hmm. And then the other important thing is how you get to modify your delivery process and immediately see it roll out across the whole organization. So one of when we get a push, we don't just set up a pipeline, we set up a graph of goals. And that's dynamically determined by looking at the code. And you can write functions to do that. And we can add stuff to that all day. We can say, okay, for any push, I just want to push impact is kind of everything else. How do you want to react to a push? Maybe we want to say hello. And then we can make action, I think it is, async, invocation. And then we can address channels and we can say hello to whoever created it. And we can do stuff like that. You get some useful information here. So you get the push itself. I think we get files changed too. Yeah. So
that's
files changed.
So handy.
Yeah, it is. We're really trying to take out the common stuff. The cloning, the autofixes actually like change your repository. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you know what? I was hoping that my autofix would add a license file, but I made a push. Check this out. I made a push to Spring Rest seed earlier. Oh, cancel. I don't want to print.
Don't.
Spring Rest seed. And if I look here, I'll see that, it failed code inspection. That's okay. Mm-hmm. That's actually because it's a fork and you can't create issues on it. Atomist applied an autofix. So there's my SDM that's running right now has a global policy of Autofix add license file. And that is set up to run on every push. So my software delivery machine sneakily said, hey, you just made a push to a repository that is not up to organizational standards.
Yes.
And it made this commit and just pushed it right back to say, look, here's your license file. So I was
right back at you.
Yeah, I expected it to do that on my Hippo project, but it was too late. It did it to the seed, and the seed changes roll out to all the new projects. So it's kind of ahead of me.
So it's really that automated capability that is really being built more and more into software delivery. Thus, use of language such as machine, right? It allows you to create these different types of machines with all these different types of filters or whatever that you're trying to provide them. Can we look at your drawing one more time?
Yeah, totally. I just broke compilation. What did I do? Action, async, inf. Doesn't want that. Doesn't want that either. That's a comma. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the drawing. You try again now that I made it compile. Quick time. There we go.
Oh, it did? Okay. So you took us all through this. And so any last words about the drawing here in conclusion?
One thing that we haven't touched on is that we saw the Autofix applying across repositories. You can also actively run code transformations across repositories. Like you can have the robot change your code, but it comes in as a pull request. So it's not scary. So when you have like a security fix that you need to apply everywhere, you can make pull requests across all your repositories. And you have control over that.
This has really been interesting, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had a drawing like this, and it's just been so much fun.
I love doing these drawings. I got this camera for my Twitch feed, so that if you watch me code on Twitch, you can see what I'm up to because I can draw out what I'm doing.
We'll definitely watch that. Jessica Kerr, lead engineer at Atomist, thank you so much for this discussion about the software delivery machines.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.